Welcome back to the lineup here on Radio DePaul, Chicago's College Connection. Eli Herskovich and Tom Bostwick in studios. We were just talking some Josh McCown and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course Lovie Smith. We can't forget about the great coach of the Chicago Bears, or the former coach of the Bears. But now let's bring in Paul M. Banks, who's live from Indianapolis at the Big Ten tournament. Paul, first, I just want to get some appreciation for DePaul basketball after the win last night over Georgetown.
Wow, that's where we're at now. ending a 14-game losing streak to Georgetown. We're excited about that.
Yes, we are here at the lineup, at least.
First win in 5 years at the tournament, Paul. We got to be excited.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, when Tim Beckman beat Purdue football to get a Big Ten win for the Illini, I kind of understand that. So I understand the bare minimum excited about anything positive type of news. I get that.
Thank you.
Kudos to you. Hats off.
Thank you for the sarcasm. I knew it was going to come. I'm expecting some more sarcasm now. How was the U of I Indiana game, and does U of I have a shot for a tournament run? Of course, Indiana played their way out of the basketball game. They were up by 4 points. It seemed like they had a shot to win. Then U of I, Tracy Abrams actually stepped up in the game. We were talking about it when you came on Blue Demon Weekly just a few weeks ago. Tracy Abrams just wasn't playing good basketball, and now he's stepping up for U of I in a big way. Does U of I have a shot to make a run here, and maybe not make a run all the way to the NCAA tournament at least? I know what you're going to say about that, but could U of I at least win a couple games here in the Big Ten tournament?
Sarcasm? Me? Come on. When do I have sarcasm, especially when relating to Illini basketball? No, there was somebody bringing up that the Illini have at-large NCAA chances in the press room, and I quickly got away from them and said, you can go have the kiddie delusional discussion. I'll stay here with the grown-ups. The adults will stay here in the real world. You can go keep dreaming about that. It's simply win it all or that's it. That anybody else that tells you otherwise seems to forget that Illinois went 1-10 in the middle of the year, and you can't go to the NCAA tournament if you do that. That being said, I do love the way they're coming on and playing really well down the stretch. 6-3 with the new starting lineup with the two freshmen. 5-1 in their last 6 road/neutral court games. So, yeah, they're looking a lot better, but it's too little, too late.
Yeah.
And to ask, do I think they can beat Michigan tomorrow night? Short answer, no. Long answer, no.
I'm with you, Paul. Good for them to get a win today, but maybe this nice little run down the stretch here will turn into something next year, and maybe they found a lineup there. But looking at the Purdue Ohio State game going on right now. Purdue's hanging tough. Hammonds is playing well. What type of seed do you see Ohio State being if they can't even knock off Purdue in the first round of the Big Ten tournament?
I see them being a gritty, scrappy, blue-collar team that plays the right way and does all the things that don't show up in the stat sheet and gives effort on both ends of the court and hustle plays. And no, I know. Can you tell I've had too much Aaron Kraft in my life these past 4 years?
Of course.
We're almost done. Almost done.
I wonder what Dan Dockich is thinking with his adopted son Aaron Kraft performing the way he is today. But if Purdue could just hit a 3 in this game, they would pull away. As it is, I wouldn't be taking Ohio State very far in your bracket. But then again, OSU seems they're very up and down in the Big Dance. I mean, how many times have we seen them have really high seeds and not end up in the Final Four? And then the one year they did make it, who knows?
Fab Mata always seems to make a little push, but that was when he had a Jared Solinger and a big man like Presence. It doesn't seem like Amir Williams is that kind of big man for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now looking at the big-time matchup tonight, Paul. Again, we're full of sarcasm right now on the lineup. Minnesota and Penn State. But now on a serious note here, does Minnesota have a shot at the tournament with a couple wins, starting with Penn State tonight?
Well, to be sarcastic again, I might as well just copy and paste the theme Gophers column every year that I've covered the Big Ten tournament because it's bubble watch every season. And I would say that they were off the bubble heading in. Nebraska was on the bubble heading in. Now, Nebraska probably needs to win to stay on it. the Gophers need 2 wins minimum. If they lose to Penn State tonight, they're done. They need to also win tomorrow, and then we'll see. If there's no bid stealers out of the low majors and mid majors and all those other conferences I really don't follow or know much about, but as long as there's not any bids stolen, they should be fine with 2 wins.
That's I mean, I feel like Minnesota. When was the last time they weren't on the bubble? It's been a long time. But looking at the game tonight, Iowa, Northwestern, this Iowa team, they've been up and down. They've had spurts where they played really well, and then they've played. I feel like every team in the Big Ten's been like this, where they played really well and then they played really crappy. But I hope they'll be able to take care of the Wildcats tonight. And if they do, they got to play Michigan State in the second round. Any chance they can string together maybe a couple wins here, get some momentum heading into the tournament, and feel better about themselves?
Oh, it's possible. I mean, last year, Tom Izzo came out and met the media at the Big Ten tournament, and he did like a Jimmy B. Rabbit Smith style mic drop at 8 Mile. He's just like, hey, we played terrible. I don't know what to say. We just played bad. And that was versus Iowa. So Iowa had them on the ropes. Iowa just couldn't close the deal. So maybe this is the year that Iowa does get them. With State, it's always kind of the same thing. You don't know if they're just going to plow through the Big Ten tournament and crush everyone, or if they're just kind of going to take it off and chill and wait till March Madness. And I've tried to look at, like, if there's a correlation between how they do in the conference tournament versus how they do in the NCAAs, and not really there. It's very hit or miss.
One last question here for you, Paul, and you can continue watching the great matchup between Purdue and Ohio State. Who's your Big Ten?
Did you see my seats, man? I'm right behind the bench. You could see me on TV. It's really nice.
We'll check you out during the break, of course. But who's your team in the Big Ten tournament to really make a push in the NCAA tournament? Is it Michigan or Michigan State? Obviously, Canada's boy, Nick Stauskas, or America's boy, and Tom Izzo.
Right. You've got America's sweetheart, Tom Izzo, or you have the Canadian dream and Nick Stauskas. Yeah, move over Bill Weddington and Steve Nash. We have a new icon of basketball in the Great White North. Yeah, Michigan's getting hot at the right time. I shouldn't say that Illinois has no chance tomorrow night. I mean, Illinois is beating teams that they looked really bad against earlier in the year. But when Michigan crushed Illinois by 31 just a week ago, they look like a team that appears ready to go back to the tournament final game, back to the Final Four. They've got all the pieces in place right now at the right time. As for Michigan State, it's all about being healthy. As long as everybody, is healthy, then everybody's going to play. I don't think Izzo's going to pull anyone, but we don't know if they're really 100%. And those are the only two I see making any noise. I wouldn't pick any other Big Ten team other than the Michigans to really go anywhere in the bracket this year.
All right, Paul, go back to your great seats, give us a wave, and we hope to have you back on soon.
Well, don't be too jealous because the wireless here is horrendous. So it's a good thing we're doing this by phone because I've internet contact has been spotty here.
There you go. All right, thank you very much for coming on, Paul.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, again, that's Paul M. Banks of the sportsbank.net talking some Big Ten hoops in style.
Yeah, in case you can't get the sarcasm through his Twitter feed, you can definitely hear it when he talks. But no, those are great. It's fun getting that insight, and especially from someone who's at the games right now and has watched, obviously, the Illini victory and watching the Boilermakers and Buckeyes right now. Ohio State's up 61-58 with 30 seconds left, so it looks like the Buckeyes will hold on. You really wonder if John Gross's team, starting off with Indiana and U of I, what he talked about in the Illini and Tracy Abrams, the run they made last season, can they do it again? Obviously, they need a little help, a lot more than they did last season. But can they get that help through themselves and getting some wins? Yeah, I mean, we saw Seton Hall knock off number 1 seed in the Big East today, and obviously the Illini have been playing really well, like Paul said, and maybe they can knock off the 1 seed in the Big Ten. Speaking of Seton Hall, people were comparing the Hall to a team that made a run in the NCAA tournament. Let's talk about the Big East and that team next here on the lineup on Radio DePaul, Chicago's College Connection.